Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So recently I have been receiving quite a few messages from people who have fallen in love with somebody from another country and they are either considering joining that person in that country or have recently moved over to that country to be with the person. And a lot of you have been asking me for advice and tips on this topic, and I thought to myself, I am going to make a whole video talking about this. I'm going to start by saying I am absolutely no expert on this topic. I'm not claiming to be an expert at all. I am just a crazy New Zealander who met a guy from Germany while he was backpacking around New Zealand, and when his New Zealand visa ran out and we couldn't be together anymore, I decided to follow him to Germany so we could be together, and the rest is pretty much history because we have been married for 8.5 years, we have 2 beautiful children, and I've been living in Germany for over 9 years now. And honestly guys, it hasn't been like smooth sailing the whole time. There's been a lot of challenges, there's been a lot of hiccups, but I just think Rob and I are an amazing team, and I feel like whatever life throws at us, as long as we're together, we can handle it. And I don't know if I'm the best person to be giving you advice and tips on this topic because Rob and I, we just went into this like completely blinded by love. We didn't think about the consequences, you know, if we do this then this will happen and all of that kind of stuff. No, we just jumped in there because we didn't want to be apart, and the only thing that mattered was for us to be together. And I have learned over these years that you can't plan life happens. I guess what I'm trying to say is that sometimes in life you can play things really safe and you can think about the consequences, and you know, you can worry and you can overanalyze situations and things still don't turn out the way you want. And then sometimes you just kind of jump into something sort of blind and life kind of just works its way out on its own, and that's kind of what happened for us. A few people have asked me whether I would recommend moving abroad for love, and that's a really hard question because, you know, as I mentioned, every situation is totally different, but for my situation, yes, it's been the right decision for me. And I would have to say one of the reasons why I think it's worked so well is the fact that I always knew that if I wanted to move back to New Zealand, I could, but I think it was so worth me taking that risk and coming to Germany. And as I mentioned in other videos, I was only planning on going to Germany for 3 months just to kind of get to know Rob. I actually have made a whole video on this topic, our international love story. I will link it below if you're interested. But basically I had a little bit of time on my hands. I had finished university and, you know, I just wanted to go and travel a little bit and just see if my relationship with Rob was worth pursuing, because I had really already fallen for him, but it was the kind of love that was that very early stage of love. And you know, when you see things through rose-colored glasses and you make really irrational decisions and that kind of thing. And I did probably make a crazy decision following him to Germany, but for me it was a safe decision because I knew that I really liked him, my family really liked him, and I knew that I could come back to New Zealand if things didn't work out. And this is why I think it is really important to book a 2-way ticket, or at least have enough money so you can book a return ticket home if you need to. And I'm not saying this is not going to work, like I'm not saying that the relationship is going to fall to pieces, but you have to remember that when you move to a new country, you are totally out of your comfort zone. It is a completely crazy experience. I've made a video on culture shock when you move to a new country, which I will also link below. So for me personally, I just always, I knew that I was in Germany because I wanted to be there and I wanted to see if this relationship was going to work, and I had the freedom to go back whenever I wanted, and that kind of peace of mind, I think it makes a huge difference. So just say you book a 1-way ticket because you are absolutely adamant that this person is the one that you want to be with, and you couldn't think of any way that it could possibly go wrong, and then you get to that country and you realize that that person is not who you thought they were, then you might be stuck there because, you know, you don't have the money to return, and it could be a disaster, and then you could fall into this relationship and get deeper and deeper into this relationship that is not right right for you. That's why I would recommend a two-way, like a return ticket home. And even if you think that that person is the love of your life, still book a return ticket home. And I'm so pleased that I did that. I didn't have to use that return ticket home until after I was married and I went home to visit New Zealand. But I always had the peace of mind of knowing that if it didn't work out, I could just go home. And then moving on to another point, I really think that you don't truly know a person until you have seen them in their natural environment. And when I say natural environment, I mean the country that they have spent the majority of their life in. So I knew what Rob was like in New Zealand. He was on holiday, he was on a working holiday visa for 1 year, and he was having the time of his life. He was on a huge high, and it was kind of like, sort of like a honeymoon stage in life for him. And he met me and everything was wonderful, and that was not reality. At the time I wasn't even thinking about this, but in hindsight I've realized how important it was for me to go to Germany and meet his family and his friends and see where he was from and see what life was like on his side of the world, you know, and experience his culture. And I'm so pleased that I did it, because I really got to know him in a way that I would never have been able to get to know him if, you know, we'd stayed in New Zealand. And even just visiting for a holiday, it's not the same as like living in that country for a while and experiencing life in that country. I definitely still remember the moment that I thought to myself, oh no, I'm in trouble. I don't think I can leave Germany right now. I need to be with this guy. That was the moment when I saw the way that he interacted with his sister, who is 100% deaf. And I don't know if I've even talked about her much in my videos, but his sister Katarina, she has been deaf her entire life. She is quite a lot older than him. She's like 7 years older than him. Rob actually never learnt to speak the official sign language, but he made up a language with his sister when they were kids, so they can communicate with each other so well with this like made up language. And it is just the sweetest thing you've ever seen. It brought tears to my eyes, and he is just so sweet and so patient with his sister. For Rob, it doesn't matter where we are in public, he will speak this like crazy sign language, and she's talking like loudly back to him. She can't hear herself, and he doesn't care, and he's used to it. He's grown up with his sister, having a deaf sister. He is just the sweetest brother. He is there for her for anything she needs, and for me to see that was just so heartwarming, and it made me realize, oh my gosh, I have got a really good guy here and I need to hold on to him. If I hadn't come to Germany and seen the way he interacts with his sister and his friends and his family, I wouldn't have seen that side of him. And it was really important for me, like that was really important for me to see. And I guess it just kind of confirmed how much I really loved him, and it made me fall in love with him even more. So also the way that he like treated me when I was there, and he looked after me and he translated everything because I couldn't speak German at the beginning, and he was just such a gentleman, and he just made me feel like so safe and so welcome. I didn't have to stay in Germany, but I stayed because I wanted to, and after a while I fell in love with Germany. Also, another thing that I think is extremely important when you are moving to another country, when you're moving to a foreign country for love, is to have good communication with your partner. And when I say communication, like this probably sounds like something not really important, but it is everything. You need to be able to talk to your partner openly. That's what Rob and I have always done from day one right up until now. We talk about everything. If we're going through a rough patch, we always talk it through, and it just makes the world of difference. Also, it's just really important to be clear with each other about the future, and you know, you may be in that country in that moment, but would you consider living there forever, or would they consider moving to your country? And you need to discuss these really important topics. Rob has always said that he is completely open to moving to New Zealand if the opportunity should arise. You know, he might find a really great job in New Zealand, and we're open to moving to New Zealand. we're also open to being in Germany, and so we're just keeping our options open. And the thing is, you can make the situation as complicated or as simple as you like. Like for us, if we really think about our situation, we've got 2 kids that we've raised in Germany, and you know, they've got friends here, and they've started, like, they're in kindergarten, Amelia's about to start school and all of that kind of thing. If we think too much about it, it kind of like makes us crazy. So we try and simplify things as much as we can. It's like, right now we're in Germany, it's all good, but if we want to go to New Zealand someday, why not? You know, let's take on the challenge. So what I'm trying to say is, you just need to talk about these kind of things. You need to talk about, you know, whether they would consider moving to your country, whether you would consider staying, and all of that kind of thing, and talk about all of the like possible scenarios of what might happen. You know, life is so unpredictable, and life never turns out the way that you plan it anyway, but it's really nice to, you know, share the same kind of values and agree on the bigger things in life. And another thing that I think is incredibly important, like crucial in a bicultural relationship, if you've moved abroad to be with somebody, do not keep score. And when I say do not keep score, I mean this because this is such a relationship, I don't want to say killer, but it's not good. It's like toxic for your relationship. And an example of keeping score would be like, I have left my whole life behind me to be with you, so you need to do this and this and this, and then we'll be even. I don't know if I've explained that very well, and honestly I have been guilty of keeping score, and I do not recommend it at all. And it's kind of like a natural thing that you kind of do if you're unhappy in a country. And I've definitely been through periods in Germany where I have been really unhappy. You definitely go through stages of culture shock when you feel like you don't have an identity, you move to this country, you don't know the language, you've left your whole support system behind you, and it's really, really hard. And you see your partner, you know, life is easy for them, they speak the language, their friends are there, they've got their support network, and you feel like you are relying on your partner for everything. And let me tell you that this is just a stage, and it does get easier. You know, there were times when I did take it out on Rob and it was not good. Like, I would see him, you know, like having such an easy time in Germany, and I was like struggling so much, and I would blame him and I would say like, it's not fair. You know, I've left everything behind me and you haven't. So keeping score is just never a good idea, because it always ends up in an argument. You always end up hurting the person who you're blaming, and they just end up feeling like crap, and you end up feeling like crap. You have to remember that if you move to a country for love, you're not moving just for them, you're moving for both of you so you can be together, and you do have to make some sacrifices. And the thing is, if you have really good communication with your partner, you can voice your feelings without blaming them. Just say, I'm feeling like this right now, I am feeling really isolated, I'm not feeling very confident, you know, I can't speak the language, you know, what can I do to make it better, instead of blaming them for it. Do you know what I mean? It's not their fault. It's not your partner's fault that you are feeling crap, and it's not their fault that they can speak the language and that they, you know, grew up in this country. And I think with Rob, like through trial and error, he realized that the way to make me feel better when I was feeling really down and just depressed and missing my family and just miserable, the way that he made me feel better was to let me know that he appreciated me and what I had done for him. Not just for him, but for us, for me too, you know, leaving my life behind me in New Zealand to be with him so we could be together. He would make me feel appreciated by saying little things like, you were so brave and you're amazing, you know, coming to Germany with me and you're doing so well, and just little things like that. Honestly, it was just those tiny little gestures that just made a world of difference to how I felt. And you know, I would go from feeling like really resentful, like, oh my goodness, I'm doing everything for him and he's got it so easy, to being like, we're a team, you know, we can do this together. And honestly guys, I have so much more I could say on this topic. I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm definitely going to make more videos on this topic, and I really hope that a few of the things I've talked about were helpful to some some of you. I know that everyone's situation is different, but maybe you have taken a little bit from our story, and I hope that it's helped you. I don't know if you guys saw my last video that I made with my friend Patricia from Nigeria and her husband Oliver from Germany. She made a comment in this video that has really stuck with me. She said, "I go wherever love takes me," and that's like the story of my life. It is so, so true, and I always say to Rob, home is wherever I'm with you, and it's true. It's really true. So basically, guys, love is unpredictable. It makes you do crazy things, but I really think if you follow your heart, you can't go wrong. I don't know if that's the best advice to give you, but it's worked for me. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you have moved abroad for love, or you're thinking of moving abroad for love, I would love to hear your story in the comment section below. I can't guarantee to reply to you all individually as much as I would love to, but I read all of your comments and I really appreciate all of your comments. I love hearing your stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to subscribe to my channel. Feel free to follow us on Instagram. I post lots of photos of my life here in Germany and beyond, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.